Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about The Elements of Eloquence by Mark Forsyth. This book was sent to me by Icon Books, but this review is, my honest opinion and everything like that. If you guys have been with me for a little while, you may have seen that last January I did a review of the Horologicon, which was also sent to me by the publisher, and I liked that book. That one was focused more on the etymology of words. I will have a link to that review in the description in case you guys are interested in seeing that one. This one, the subtitle is How to Turn the Perfect English Phrase, and this one just has to do more with like sentence structure and why certain things sound better to us and what the names of those types of devices are. I don't know if it is just because of the subject matter between the two books, but I really enjoyed this one. I thought the other one was good, but I really loved this one and I thought it was really funny. I tabbed it up a little bit, if you guys can see that, and a lot of the tabs were either me learning something that I found was really interesting, or it was just me just laughing at stuff. Mark Forsyth is a really funny writer, and he takes something that could be pretty boring and probably most people would think is really boring, but he makes it really entertaining. When he's talking about all the different devices for creating sentences and writing, he uses a lot of examples that most people probably would recognize. The most common ones that he pulls from are the Bible, Shakespeare. He also does a lot from the Beatles and different music groups. My favorite was that he made a reference to Katy Perry song or a Katy Perry lyric that uses one of the devices that he talks about. So this is definitely not just like your typical writing guide type book. This is one of those books that you probably could read for enjoyment. I mean, I read it for enjoyment while I was also learning things, and I think the fact that I do write affected how I viewed this book because I know the things that he's talking about in here, and so that made it more enjoyable for me. One of the things that he touches upon is that a lot of the devices that he talks about are things that we kind of know, but we don't necessarily know the name of, or we aren't necessarily able to point it out. We just know that certain things sound better to us than others, and so this is sort of like a guide to breaking down why those things sound good to us or giving us examples of it. And if you are someone who writes, then you could be more conscious about utilizing those things so that way your writing might be more memorable for people. When I first got this book in the mail, I originally thought that this would be a really good book to read like right before NaNoWriMo, but now that I've actually read the book, I actually feel like this is better for after NaNoWriMo, like once you are editing and revising. A lot of times when you're writing, especially first drafts, you just kind of need to get the words out, and this is really good for you to read as you're sort of going back and making things tighter and more concise and cleaner and just better written. Reading this and then going through your editing, you might be able to identify places possibly in your own writing where you can utilize one of these things that I mentioned. In the end, I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars because I thought this was just a really enjoyable book, even without the whole learning aspect or being applicable to my life aspect. I feel like this is one of those books that you can sort of read in pieces. Obviously, there isn't some like overarching storyline that you need to really pay attention to. You're just getting little tidbits of information. So I carried this around in my purse and I would read like chapters here and there because the chapters are pretty short. But the one slight downfall is that Mark Forsyth is a really good writer, and the way that he wrote these chapters is that each chapter sort of flows into the next one. So he'll be talking about a device, and then at the end of a chapter he will mention something that will actually be the next device that he's talking about in the next chapter. So it kind of keeps you reading whether you meant to or not. So you are forewarned for that, but that actually obviously makes it more engaging. So yeah, I definitely recommend this book if you are someone who has read any of Mark Forsyth's other books. Definitely pick this one up because I feel like this is such a good one. And also if you are just someone who is interested in writing and nerdy things like sentence structure and grammar, then this is definitely something that you guys should check out. So yeah, those are my thoughts on The Elements of Eloquence. If you have read this book, feel free to leave your comments down below, and if you're interested in this book and have any comments or questions, feel free to leave those down below as well. So yeah, that's all I have for now, and thanks for watching.